Hi everyone, Namaste. I hope all of you understand the last class about 16th group. So in the 16th group we completed physical properties. Now we will start chemical properties. So in the last class we have completed oxidation states. So the common oxidation states of the 16th group will be from -2 to 2 plus 6. So -2 is the minimum, plus 6 is the maximum. Now we will say some chemical properties. Chemical properties. So whenever we are studying chemical properties of P block, mostly three reactions are important. One is the reaction with hydrogen, another one is the reaction with oxygen, another one is the reaction with halogen. So three reactions important: with hydrogen, with halogen and with oxygen. So one by one we will see. The first chemical property is reaction with hydrogen. So reaction with hydrogen. So any 16th group element when combines with hydrogen, they will form hydrides. So write this statement: 16th group elements combines with hydrogen produce hydrides. This 16th group element, suppose we are taking with letter E. So any letter we can take. Just I am taking as E. It is combining with hydrogen. Hydrogen formula H2 produce hydride. Now what is the formula of hydride? How to identify is, here E is 16th group element. It can be oxygen, sulfur, selenium and tellurium. So polonium I am just removing because it is a radioactive element. So four elements: oxygen, sulfur, selenium, tellurium. So any of these four elements when combines with hydrogen produce hydride. Now what is the formula of hydride? How to identify is, here E is the 16th group and this is the hydrogen. When two elements are combining, remember one must be more electronegative, another one must be less electronegative. So more electronegative element will exhibit negative charge, less electronegative element will exhibit positive charge. So hence among these two, 16th group element is more electronegative. Hence its charge must be negative. The negative charge of 16th group will be -2. Similarly, hydrogen is less electronegative. It will show positive. The positive charge of hydrogen will be +1. So whenever both are combining, 16th group element will exhibit -2, hydrogen will exhibit +1. Now these charges must be crossed. That means 2 will come here, 1 will come here. The formula will be E1H2. 2 will come, 1 will come. So E1H2. So 1 we can neglect. EH2 is the formula of hydride. So any 16th group element combining with hydrogen produce EH2. So E means any of these elements. If oxygen is combining, the product is H2O. Sulfur is combining, the product is H2S. Selenium is combining, the product is H2SE. Tellurium is combining, the product is H2Te. So these are the hydrides of 16th group elements. Hydrides of 16th group elements. So all these properties are very important. So mostly in the P block, hydrides properties they will ask. So what are the properties? We will see one by one. So this is the reaction of 16th group element with hydrogen. Oxygen combining with hydrogen, sulfur will combine with hydrogen. So these are the hydrides. So among these hydrides, so number of properties they will ask. The first property is stability, also called thermal stability. So the thermal stability of these hydrides top to bottom will decrease. So why? Because when we are moving top to bottom, atomic size increase. So due to increasing of atomic size, the bond length between metal or central atom and hydrogen will be increases. Here, this is the OH bond, this is the SH bond, this is the SAH bond, this is the TEH bond. So bond length top to bottom increases. When bond length is increasing, the bond dissociation energy will be less. That means it is a weak bond, it can be easily broken. So hence it is unstable. So that's why thermal stability top to bottom decreases due to increasing of bond length or decreasing of dissociation energy. Bond dissociation energy will be decreases, bond length will be increases, stability will be decreases. So all others I am writing. So thermal stability top to bottom decreasing. Why? Because top to bottom bond dissociation energy. To break the bond, how much energy is required? That is the bond dissociation energy will be decreases. Another one is the bond length. So bond length will be increases due to increasing of atomic radius. So bond length increasing, stability decreasing, bond dissociation energy will be decreases. So among this, which is the least stable, stability top to bottom decreasing. That means H2Te is the very less stable. So it cannot hold hydrogen because the breaking of bond will be easy. So it is unstable, easily losing of hydrogen. So the top to bottom hydrogen losing tendency will be increasing. That hydrogen losing tendency we are calling reducing nature. So that reducing nature top to bottom increases. So reducing nature is nothing but losing of hydrogen by the central atom. Any central atom is losing hydrogens, that is called reducing nature. So that reducing nature top to bottom increasing. Also another important property, acidic nature. So the acidic nature of hydrates top to bottom increases. So this is the most important property. So remember that we know that acidic property and basic property. So acidic character is directly proportional to electronegativity, whereas basic property directly proportional to electropositivity. So the actually acidic character is directly proportional to electronegativity, whereas basic character is directly proportional to electropositivity. And this is applicable to all molecules. Hence, acidic character left to right increases, top to bottom basic character increases. That is for all molecules. But when you are coming for hydrates, these are the hydrates. In hydrates, acidic character left to right also increases, top to bottom is also increases. So remember, only for hydrates, acidic character left to right also increases, top to bottom also increases. So left to right increases due to electronegativity, whereas top to bottom increases due to decreasing of bond dissociation energy. Since top to bottom bond energy decreasing, it is easier to break hydrogens. So releasing of H plus will be easier. Hence acidic nature will be higher according to Arrhenius concept. Any H plus donors are acids. That's why acidic nature top to bottom increases. A strong acid will be H2Te due to its weak bond. Bond dissociation energy top to bottom decreasing. So that's why acidic nature top to bottom increasing. So these are most important properties. Bond dissociation energy, thermal stability, bond length, reducing nature and acidic nature. So strong acid, weak acid. We know the pH of water will be 7. The remaining pH will be less than 7. So along with other properties also there. They will ask bond angle. Also they will ask dipole moment. So bond angle top to bottom decreases. Dipole moment top to bottom decreases. So bond angle top to bottom decreases, dipole moment top to bottom decreases. How these two are decreasing? So bond angle, we know that bond angle can be determined by number of parameters. First we use hybridization to determine bond angle. After that we use number of lone pairs. After that we use electronegativity. So these three parameters are used to describe bond angle values. So when our molecules are given, first we determine hybridization. If hybridization is same, then we go for second factor, number of lone pairs. If number of lone pairs also same, then we go for electronegativity. Suppose here all these are hydrates of 16th group, whose formula is EH2. When we are determining hybridization, E is the central atom. Central atom is the 16th group. The valence electrons must be 6 plus number of hydrogens. Hydrogens are monovalent atoms. So monovalent atoms are 2 divided by 2. So this is the formula. Valence electrons of central atom plus number of monovalent atoms by 2. Your value will be 4. 4 means sp3. sp3 geometry will be tetrahedral like this. Central atom will be E. There are 2 hydrogen atoms and there are 2 lone pairs. So in every hydrate, hybridization is sp3 and each hydride contains 2 lone pairs on the central atom. So hybridization is same, number of lone pairs is also same. Hence bond angle depends on electronegativity. We know that electronegativity top to bottom decreases. Since electronegativity top to bottom decreasing, so bond angle is also top to bottom decreases. Water has nearly 105 bond angle, but when you are moving top to bottom, bond angle is nearly it is equal to 90. So bond angle is decreasing due to electronegativity decreasing. So sometimes the question will be called like this: why bond angle top to bottom decreasing? So top to bottom when we are moving, electronegativity decreasing. So the decreasing of electronegativity means the decreasing of S character or increasing of P character. Since s orbitals are more electronegative, the decreasing of S character or increasing of P character will decreases bond angle. Remember this also, decreasing of electronegativity or decreasing of S character or increasing of P character will decreases bond angle. Same like dipole moment. Dipole moment is the charge into distance. So it is also directly proportional to electronegativity. Top to bottom decreases. So all these are important properties of 16th group hydrates. Along these two, another 2 important properties are there. That is melting point and boiling point. So melting point, boiling point, both are depends on molar mass. So melting point, boiling point directly proportional to molar mass. So top to bottom when we are moving, molar mass will be increases. Hence molar mass is increasing. So definitely boiling point and melting point will be increases. So melting point, boiling point, top to bottom increases. So we expected H2O should be less, H2Ta will be highest. So top to bottom should be increases. But here little small change is there. From water to H2S, melting point and boiling point will be decreases, and the remaining melting point, boiling point will be increases. So actually top to bottom should be increases due to mass, but first to second decreasing, remaining all are increasing. So I am giving order here, melting and boiling point order. So the least should be H2S, after that H2Se, H2Ta, the highest should be water. So water should be highest, actually water should be least, because it has low molecular mass, but it is becoming highest melting point and highest boiling point. This is mainly due to the presence of intermolecular hydrogen bond. In water, hydrogen bond exists. So we know that where hydrogen bond exists, so hydrogen bond will exist between chlorine, oxygen and nitrogen when they are attached with hydrogen. So these three elements can form hydrogen bond. That's why water can form hydrogen bond, but remaining cannot form hydrogen bond. So because of hydrogen bond, even though its mass is less, it exhibits highest melting point, also highest boiling point. So both melting and boiling point order is same. What is the highest melting, highest boiling point? So when you are going for 17th group, a small change will be there. But here both melting and boiling point will be highest for water. So due to presence of intermolecular hydrogen bond. So all these are properties of hydrides of 16th group. So this is the reaction with hydrogen. Next, the second property is reaction with oxygen. Reaction with oxygen. So write this statement. 16th group elements combines with oxygen produce di and trioxides. So there is a statement. 16th group elements combines with oxygen produce mostly di and trioxide. Here 16th group elements are combining with oxygen. Here 16th group elements can be oxygen, sulfur, selenium, tellurium. But here oxygen I am neglecting because oxygen are combining. So both two oxygen gas are combining. So that will be oxygen gas again. There is no reactivity. Under some conditions, oxygen will form ozone. But that is a different ozone formation. We'll see later. But here sulfur, selenium, tellurium will combine with oxygen. So among these two, oxygen is more electronegative because here oxygen we are not taking. So oxygen is more electronegative. It will show -2. Remaining E will be less electronegative. It will show +4 and +6. So these are the common oxidation states. So whenever it is showing +4, 4 will come here, 2 will come here. The formula will be E2O4. This E2O4 we can write as EO2 as an empirical formula. And also when 6 is reacting, so 6 will come here, 2 will come here. The product will be E2O6. So E2O6 empirical formula will be EO3. So this is dioxide, this is the trioxide. 16 group elements combined with oxygen produce dioxides and trioxides. So this EO2 can be sulfur dioxide, selenium dioxide, tellurium dioxide. EO3 can be SO3, SaO3, AaO3, etc. So these are dioxides and these are trioxides. So all these trioxides are oxidizing in nature. SO3 is oxidizing agent, SaO3 is oxidizing, TaO3 is oxidizing. All trioxides are oxidizing because here oxidation number will be +6. If the oxidation number will be high, that will be oxidizing agent. Remember that oxidizing agent, simple definition, when oxidation number is high, that will be oxidizing agent. Similarly, dioxides are reducing in nature. So trioxides are oxidizing whereas dioxides are reducing. But the reducing nature decreases top to bottom. Reducing nature decreases top to bottom. All dioxides are oxidizing in nature and dioxides are reducing in nature, but the reducing nature decreases top to bottom. Why say this? All our oxidation number is +4 here and it is a +6. So because of high charge, these are oxidizing and these are normally reducing. But that reducing nature top to bottom decreases. Why? Because when you are moving top to bottom, here bond dissociation energy will be decreases. So tellurium is bigger size, that's why it easily releases oxygen. Whenever it is releasing oxygen, that is called oxidizing agent. Oxidizing agent loses oxygen, but sulfur dioxide is reducing, and finally TiO2 is a oxidizing agent. Remember, top to bottom, reducing nature decreases due to decreasing of bond dissociation energy. Hence, reducing nature decreasing means oxidizing nature increasing. So TiO2 is oxidizing, whereas remaining these two are reducing. Normally all are reducing, but these two are highly reducing and this is nearly oxidizing. So reducing nature top to bottom decreases. So this is about oxides. So among dioxides and trioxides, when you are calculating hybridization, central atom valence electrons will be 6, and here there are 2 oxygen. But remember, oxygen is not monovalent, it is a divalent. So hybridization formula only applicable to monovalent. That's why central atom valence electron 6, number of monovalent atoms are 0, divided by 2, the value will be 3, 3 means sp2. So sp2 is a planar shape like this. The central atom will be E, oxygen. So this will be lone pair. The shape is normally bent shape. So dioxides are bent molecule. Simply sulfur dioxide. So sulfur dioxide is a bent molecule. So there is a 1 sigma between E and O, and there is a some unhybrid. sp2 is the hybridization. P orbitals are 3. In hybridization, 2 orbitals are participating. There is a 1 unhybrid p orbital is there, and that 1 hybrid p orbital will form pi bond. Also, central atom sulfur, selenium, tellurium will contain d orbitals also. They will also form d pi p pi bond. So sigma sigma, this is a pi pi, and 1 pi is formed by p pi, and another one is formed by d pi p pi. Example, I am writing sulfur dioxide. In sulfur dioxide, structure should be like this: 1 sigma. There are 2 sigma bonds in sulfur dioxide, and the pi bonds are here also pi bond, here also pi bond. But this pi bond is formed by p orbital of sulfur and p orbital of oxygen, whereas this pi bond is formed by d orbital of sulfur and p orbital of oxygen. So why? Because hybridization is sp2. sp2 means only 1 p orbital is unhybrid. So with 1 p orbital, sulfur will form 1 pi bond, and it has d orbitals also there. So with that d orbital, it will form another pi bond. So in sulfur dioxide, 2 sigma bonds, there are 2 pi bonds are there. One pi bond is called p pi bond, another pi bond is called d pi p pi bond. So this is the structure of sulfur dioxide. Similarly, when you are observing trioxides, trioxides are the same. Central atom will be 6. There is no monovalent atom. Divided by 2, value will be 3. Hybridization is again sp2. In this shape will be planar shape. Central atom will be E. Here there are 3 oxygen. 1, 2, 3. There is no lone pair. So it will happen again pi bonds like this. So in place of B we can write S, that is the SO3 structure, sulfur trioxide. So this is the dioxides and trioxide structure. And all these oxides, mostly dioxides and also trioxides, mostly all are acidic in nature because 16th group elements are highly electronegative. That's why all of these oxides, dioxides and trioxides are highly acidic in nature. When dioxides combining with, suppose we are taking sulfur dioxide. Sulfur dioxide combining with water produce H2SO3. So this is called sulfurous acid. Whereas trioxide will combine with water, will form sulfuric acid. So dioxides and trioxides with water, they will form acids. That's why these are called what are they? Acidic in nature. Dioxides also acidic, trioxides also acidic. So one is sulfurous, another one is the sulfuric. So sulfur trioxide in solid state, it can exist as cyclic trimer. So in gaseous state, it is exist as monomer, but when are coming to solid state, so SO3 can form cyclic trimer or linear polymer. So SO3 can form cyclic trimer or linear polymer in solid state. Sulfur dioxide mostly in gaseous state, it will exist as monomer, but in solid state it will form cyclic trimer or linear polymer. So trimer should be like this. So this is a cyclic trimer of sulfur trioxide. So SO3 can exist as cyclic trimer or also linear polymer also possible. So like this it will form linear chain like this, either linear polymer or cyclic trimer. So in solid state SO3 can exist as either cyclic trimer or linear polymer. Similarly SeO3, selenium trioxide, can exist as cyclic tetramer. So SO3 can exist as a trimer, whereas SeO3 can exist as tetramer. So tetramer means 4 molecules. So it should be like this. So this is the cyclic tetramer of SeO3 and SO3 exists as cyclic trimer. So these are about completely oxides, reactivity with oxygen. Next, the third property will be reaction with halogen. So third property will be reaction with halogen. The first one is with hydrogen, the second one is with oxygen, and the third one is with halogen. So the statement is, so 16th group elements combines with halogen produce dihalides, tetrahalides and hexahalides. So di, tetra and hexahalide mostly. So 16th group we are taking as the combines with halogen Here the 16th group will be, we are taking as sulfur, selenium, tellurium. I am not taking oxygen. Why? Because when compared with remaining halogens, oxygen will be most electronegative. Oxygen will react separately. But these three elements, sulfur, selenium, tellurium, when combining with halogen, they forms halides. It can be tetra, it can be hexahalides, like that. See this, among these two, halogen will be more electronegative because we are not taking oxygen. So except oxygen, remaining all elements are less electronegative than the halogen. That's why halogen will form -1, whereas it will form +4, +6. Mostly +4, +6 they will form. So sometimes +2 also they will show. +2 also they will show. If it is a +2, it is showing. So 2 will come here, 1 will come here. Will form dihalide EX2. 4 is showing. 4 will come here, 1 will come here. Tetrahalide EX4. And 6 is showing. Hexahalide EX6. So tetra and hexa are common halides. So these are some rare dihalides are there. But whatever, these are the possible halides. Dihalides, tetrahalides and hexahalides. So when our 16th group elements combines with halogen, they will form di, tetra and hexahalides. So when we are writing the hybridizations, so try this hybridization. What are the hybridization of this di, tetra and hexahalides? So dihalides are, central atom will be 6, monovalent atoms will be 2, by 2, 8 by 2, 4, 4 means sp3. The geometry will be tetrahedral. So this is the tetrahedral geometry. Central atom will be E and halogens are 2. So remaining 2 are lone pairs. So the shape will be bent shape. All dihalides are bent molecule. Similarly, tetrahalides, 6 plus 4 by 2, that is the 5. That means sp3d, trigonal bipyramidal. sp3d means trigonal bipyramidal. It should be 3 equatorial bonds, 2 axial bonds. Axial bonds are lengthier, equatorial bonds are shorter bonds. So here central atom will be E and there are 4 halogens, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 equatorial bonds will be lone pair. The shape is called seesaw shape. So tetrahalides are seesaw shape, whereas hexahalides 6 plus 6 by 2, that is 6, sp3d2, octahedral. I am writing here. So this is the octahedral geometry. Central atom will be E. There are 6 halogens, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There is no lone pair. That's why shape is also octahedral. So hexahalides are octahedral shape, tetrahalides are seesaw shape, so dihalides are mostly bend shape. So hybridization is also given. So this is di, tetra and hexahalides formed by 16 group elements. Now when we are observing among hexahalides, only fluorides exist. In EX6 means hexahalide. In hexahalides, mostly halogen must be fluorine. Because when you are taking chlorine or bromine, 6 chlorine, 6 bromines are very big size. The stability is very less, so they are doubtful to exist. Hence, in hexahalides, mostly fluorides exist, like SF6. So that is the sulfur hexafluoride. Fluorides are more stable when compared with chlorides, bromides, and iodides. The stability is also I am giving. Stability: chlorides, chloride, bromide, and iodide. So among hexahalides, only fluorides exist. like SF6, SeF6, but chlorides, bromides does not exist due to its very bulky molecule and more number of molecule, very repulsions will take place. Similarly, in tetrahalides, SF4 is a gas, SeF4 is a liquid, whereas TeF4 is a solid. SF4 is a gas, SeF4 is liquid, TeF4 is solid. So this is tetrahalides, and among hexahalides only chlorides exist. But in tetrahalides, chlorides, bromides also can exist. SeCl4, SeCl4, TeCl4. So chlorides also can exist, but only in hexahalides mostly chlorides exist. Chlorides and iodides, bromides does not exist. So due to repulsions. So these are the SF4 is a gas, SeF6 is liquid, SeF4 is liquid, TeF4 is a solid. And remember, SF4, SF6, hexahalide, tetrahalide. So SF6 is more covalent. Sometimes they will ask covalent nature. Hexahalides are more covalent than the tetrahalides because their charge will be +6, their charge will be +4. When charge is high, polarizing power will be high. So more the charge, more polarizing power. When polarizing power will be high, so covalent character will be high. So hexahalides are more covalent than the tetrahalides. Nearly both are covalent, but hexahalides are more covalent, tetrahalides are less covalent. So it contains some ionic character. So due to that, it is highly reactive, and this is less reactive. Because this is a covalent, this is less covalent, it will be highly reactive. SF4 is highly reactive, SF6 is less reactive. So this is about halides. So dihalides also there. So dihalides not required. So dihalide shape is bent shape with sp3 hybridization. And there are some monohalides also exist. Monohalides like S2F2. So this is called monohalide because both are 2 atoms. We can take as monohalide. Similarly, S2Cl2, Se2Cl2. All these are monohalides. These are the formulas of monohalides. Mostly monohalides undergo disproportionation reactions. For example, we are taking Se2Cl2. So this undergo disproportionation reactions converted to SeCl4 plus 3Se. So this is called disproportionation reactions. So monohalides of 16th group undergo disproportionation reactions. They are converted to tetrahalides like Se2Cl2. 2 monohalides converted to tetrahalides. This is called disproportionation reaction. Why it is called disproportionation? Here the charge of Se will be +1. Here the charge will be +4. Here charge will be 0. So here charge decreasing, charge increasing. So increasing means oxidation, decreasing means reduction. So same molecule participating in both oxidation and reduction. That's why it is called disproportionation reaction. So this is about halides. So all geometry shapes. So hybridization is also most important in p-block element. Structures they will give. So we completed 3 reactions. Reaction with hydrogen, reaction with oxygen, and reaction with halogen.